My name is Brianna, and I welcome you to the Tales of Adventure, a D&D podcast like no other.
I am Henry. My character is Shufa bin Dilma bin Shoda Matta. He is from the southern lands of this world. Not many people from that area travel up to this northern area, so he's not used to the way things are done here. He's still getting used to it, the openness, and he's a little bit different than what people would expect.
Pardon me, but is this the orchard where you sell the cider?
Yes, it is. Please come in.
Thank you. I've been trying to find this place forever.
It can be hard to find. You walk down the road, lots of trees. It does get confusing. Lots of trees on the other side too. Would you care for a drink, tea, cider?
I'll take some cider. This is a very nice place. My name is Istra, by the way.
Pleased to meet you. I am Shufa bin Dilma bin Shoda Matta. Please excuse my large, quiet, armored friend. This is Ben Bao, and the large armored friend bows. Stands back up.
Pleasure to meet you. It's good to see you've well protected here. Since it's so remote, most people don't think about that.
Yes, we have not too much to worry about with the raiders. They tried before. They learned not to. It was very pleasant. Good times. They helped make Ben.
Sounds like they're very smart. So have you always worked at this orchard, or... You strike me as someone who's traveled a lot.
Yes, I come from the deep southern areas. I had to leave under some interesting circumstances. Traveled to here, met my companions in our first foray, where we actually cleared this area. It was haunted. We liberated it from the ghosts, and as a reward, they gave us the deed. So we got it back up and running, and now we produce some of the finest cider in the area.
I believe that's very delicious. Might have to see if I can talk you out of your recipe at some point.
That is a very, very good, closely guarded secret.
Fair enough. So imagine living here, you're familiar with the things going on in this area?
Somewhat, to a degree. We hear things. We try to keep up as best as we can. It's news travels in and out. We make our trips into town, get what we can get to know, and that's about the extent of it. Some of the stuff from the outer, bigger cities takes a little while to come in, but you do what you can.
Naturally. I'm curious, I've heard the rumors of something with Warforged and new transportation centers in this area. It's part of why I came. I wanted to see them for myself.
Yes, the travel centers are the Warforged, the Brotherhood of Steam. And probably will be again currently, the militaristic arm of the Imperium, the old Imperium that used to rule this land centuries ago, long time. As for finding there is one in town. There is access to a vault. You will have to talk to the innkeeper for him to let you go down and see it, but he does have one there. Outside of that, there's another one about 20 miles to the east. But we were the ones who, in fact, discovered the one in town and helped with the liberation of the Warforged, which were being forced to start a rebellion to come alive again to restart the Imperium under some very bad means.
I imagine that to be a rather unfortunate thing, if they had succeeded.
Oh, very, 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 very much. We found many armies of Warforged in stasis in a couple different areas in cities below ground that they would have just been able to pop up in the towers that you can see spotted along the coastlines and the cities. So having an army of Warforged just pour out in the middle of a city when no one's expecting it would be very bad.
Gives me a headache just to think about that. It's a very good thing you were there. I don't think I could have gotten here in time to help with anything.
We just happened to get very lucky, or unlucky, as the case may be, and stumbled into it, and did what we could to stop it before it got too far out of hand.
Do you often find yourself caught in the midst of something large like that?
We have been known to be pulled into things. Recently, after that, we helped put down a incursion from some Thay wizards who were trying to build their own undead army to help take over the travel centers and use those to get through the cities and do the same thing the Warforged were. It would have been also very bad. Mazis Tam is just a very, very bad man.
Pardon me, who?
Mazis Tam, he's the leader of the Red Wizards of Thay. A very, very, very evil and bad necromancer.
Fun necromancers typically aren't the best people to know. Unless you find one of the rare good ones. In that case, they're unique but good friends to have.
I don't know if I would see myself as good, but I'm definitely not one such as he.
You practice necromancy.
Yes, I will lift up Ben's visor, and you can clearly see that there's a skeleton underneath.
In that case, I hope you know I meant no offense by my comment.
Of course not, of course not. It is understood. It is a very dark art. It is actually forbidden in my land, and what has caused me to travel to these lands, as I am actually still being hunted from there for a small book that I have, and that they kind of want back, but they will not get back. But I digress.
I hope you don't mind me asking, if it's forbidden in your home, why did you choose to study it? What drew you to it?
During my early studies, putting away some of the books in our forbidden section library, I heard a voice calling to me. It was a book promised me power and might beyond my current kin if I would just listen to it and help it. And it is a dark book of necromancy. And I, being the young impressionable that I was, listened to it. So I stole it and ran away.
Your story is surprisingly common.
Yes, but the book and I, we get along quite well. As I pat the book on my side. It doesn't talk as much now, but when it does, the words are still wise. And it's very, very useful and helpful to me these days.
I'm curious if it's forbidden why your people had the book and didn't try to hide it or destroy it.
It was in the forbidden section, and it was not meant to be just locked up, but for some reason this was very easy for me to grab and take. I'm unsure about that part. But we have many forbidden tomes just to keep them primarily out of the hands of the people they should not be in. This particular book has connections to Vecna, so that was a good thing why they would do that, because she's not someone you want to actually have too many people talking with.
Very true, very true. So, how long ago was this? How long has it been since you ran away from home?
Let us see. It has been, 10, at least 10-ish, 10 or more years. They have found me once. I was a Jinn messenger sent by the ruler of the land actually found me. And we had a pleasant conversation where he asked for the return of the book. I explained that I would not. We had tea. He understood my point of view where I would not and could not. And he returned with a message that they would have to come and try and take it. And I just keep a low profile from, I'm sure, the people that are hunting for it now.
That's fair. There's also other people who would probably be interested in such a book. It would not be good if it got into other hands.
Yes, I keep it safe and out of those hands. Use it just for the benefits of myself and my group as needed.
Yes. Normally I would be more concerned, but you strike me as a good person. Not someone who's going to use this for something unpleasant or something that would make my life more complicated.
No, there's no need to make other people's lives more complicated if it is not necessarily to do so.
And I imagine it would be much more annoying if the book was in someone else's hand, and things like this, they always find a way to be used.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. It'd be very bad. I have barely tapped into a partial of the power of the book, and just from that little bit, someone who could access the full potential of the book would just be able to wreak amazing amounts of havoc. Yes, I keep it safe.
That's true. So I'm curious, how did you meet these friends of yours?
There was a typical help wanted ad up on the sign. And the signpost in the village was low on coin as I was traveling through the area. and needed to make some money to continue my journeys. Met up with these friends and figured, okay, we'll give it a shot, go help them, be done with it. And it just kept going more and more. It was a very profitable opportunity and has kept to be such.
Sounds like you're a good person who found some good people to travel with. Sometimes it's hard to find a new family after leaving home. So have you traveled much around the kingdom, or do you stay close to here?
We try to stay close to home, with the exception of when we have used the transporters to travel as we were discovering them. We ended up quite a distance away, a couple of weeks away as a fact, but then we were able to use them to return. And if we need to, we do have free access to use them, granted to us by the Brotherhood of Steam. We all have these medallions, and it's a Shoja medallion. It's a cog with a hammer in it. This grants us access to use the transporter system whenever we so choose, granted to us by the Brotherhood.
A very useful thing to have indeed. I may have to see if I can make some friends in this brotherhood.
If you can, I suggest it. It is always good to have powerful friends as well. Warforged are many and varied, and quite competent.
It's been a while since I've worked with a Warforged, but I've found them very useful, and they can be very interesting people as well. Not always the best at understanding human emotions, but...
True. My only dealings have been with them as enemies or as the allies here. I do not know any as friends, so it's quite limited, but it would definitely be interesting to know more. I wonder what they're like on the inside. But I digress.
It's very interesting being friends with one, because as I said, they don't always fully understand emotions and other human or organic feelings, so it leads to some very interesting conversations.
I can assume so, yes, very.
Though some of them want to explain it, have an easier time understanding, but still, it's foreign to them.
I see. Definitely would be very... I must make an effort to meet some more.
Just remember to be patient.
This I can do.
Do you ever sometimes wish you could return home?
On occasion, it would be nice to see my family again, those that are still around. And it does get too cold and wet up here for my likes at times. Do miss the nice desert heat.
Desert heat can be pleasant once you get used to it.
I don't know if that will ever happen. Much.
So, you've had no contact with any of them?
No, I do avoid anything with them so that it cannot be used to track me or used against them.
That makes sense.
Yes, 'cause even a simple sending might give messages back and forth that way, or mail or such, could give the Caliphate chance to learn more about what I am and to use it against my family to help get me to expose what I am through torture or whatever means they find.
With how long it's been, I'm surprised they haven't given up by now.
No, they are very, very protective of their books. So it will be quite a while before that happens.
Probably when there is a change of power, I'm assuming.
One could hope, but the Caliphate has a long memory, and it takes a lot for an incoming ruler to overturn any rulings from the prior. I would probably have to save their life myself through great cost to myself for that to happen. But in doing so, I would have to put myself at risk of being captured and the book taken from me in the first place, so...
Should not be a good thing, because then there's no telling who will fall prey to its whispers next.
Yes, I know the Jinn messengers will still be able to find me as they search. They have their own means, so I expect more to appear from time to time. This is very polite. We sit, we have tea, we talk, and expect at least 2 or 3 more before the hunters really come in earnest. But make sure to keep moving from time to time so they can never really find me in one set place.
Smart. It's also, I find that sometimes it's helpful to hide in larger cities, more people to disappear in. But then there's also more people who could recognize you.
Yes.
One upside of being a necromancer is you can always create more guards.
Ben does an extremely good job on himself. It is a single, more powerful guard than multiple smaller ones.
Was his name Ben before you resurrected him, or did you just decide to call him that?
I decided to call him Ben. When I originally started, I used to have two, and it was Ben and Willard, which is an old joke.
One I'm not personally familiar with, but I'm also new to the area.
Shows about rats. One was named Ben, one was named Willard. Very, very funny. If you got the joke, you got it. But I keep Ben. He's quiet, does what he's told, good in a fight, quiet.
The ideal traveling companion.
Yes. Yes, very, 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 very. He does not get in the way. It's very nice. It's somebody to talk to when I need to and just let things out. And I don't ever have to worry about him saying, no, you're wrong, Shufa. You should have done this instead. I'd be like, oh, I can explain the problem and just think it out, talk to myself with Ben and come to that conclusion on my own.
Always nice having someone to talk to like that. I do that occasionally, and every once in a while the thing gets destroyed because it starts talking back, and I was not expecting that.
Yes, and then that is something I never have to worry about. He serves his purpose. He's an excellent guard. He's been quite helpful to us in our journeys and missions. We have equipped him quite well to handle anything that we throw at him. You see he's in full plate armor. He does have a shield and a sword, bow strapped to his back.
Very impressive armor as well.
Yes, we did make sure to equip him with magical gear so that he does his job even better.
Yes, I did notice the enchantments. Well done.
Simple stuff that we collected that nobody else was using, so it made sense to go to Ben.
Naturally. How did your friends react when they discovered you were a necromancer? I know some people can be rather off-put by that.
They were a bit unaccustomed to it. As you can see, you cannot tell what Ben is. The first time that I was forced to raise Ben in front of them, they were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "It's Ben. He was just helping us." They were like, "Oh, really?" But they have grown accustomed. I don't really think it freaks them out too much anymore. We've reached a balance. Things need to die. We make it dead. Things need to be questioned. I do the questioning. Things need to be done in a much more pleasant manner. I generally let them do that.
Balance is a good thing to have, especially when you're traveling with people.
Yes.
Were you studying magic before you discovered necromancy?
Yes. Just starting my training at the school.
What were you eager to learn before?
What school I was going to focus on. It probably would have been transmutation, but then the call of the book is what led me to this.
Fate has a funny way of taking what you think you want to do and turning it on its head.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. But it's been a good life, very interesting. I have made some good friends. We have a good place here in the orchard and the brewery. We make good cider. Would you care for some more?
Yes, I would. It's been a while since I've had good cider. Most places don't do a very good job of it, so just go with mead.
I'll make sure you have some more to take with you when you leave for extra.
Much appreciated. I'm probably going to be in the area for a little bit, exploring some of these transportation, see if there's anything interesting or something people might have missed or something that people might like to study.
That's good. Just be careful. Make sure when you approach any Warforged, do so openly. Explain what you're there for, just so they don't try and get the wrong idea. People have tried to be doing some looting, and, that's never a good thing. So...
Well, I've seen what happens when a looter encounters a Warforged. Or at least what was left of what happened.
Yes, they may be a little on edge, so...
Understandable. Sounds like you were telling me about how they were, trapped or enslaved or something like that?
Yes, there are a bunch still in stasis down below, and they have these fantastic weapons. You'll meet a bunch that have these... It look like a backpack, and it has a hose that will come up to a long stick-like device or to a smaller handheld device, and they fire small projectiles. So be very, very wary, because they can hit you from far away, and they hurt a lot.
Duly noted. I'm also curious to study these weapons.
They do not give them away. So the only way you will ever get one or your hands on one to take it.
I was thinking more to see if I can study from afar or if any of the ones still in stasis. I thankfully am familiar with how to not awaken Warforged in stasis.
Oh, this
Or at
is good.
least not awaken all of them. Sometimes things happen.
This is very good. But any that do awaken, we should have no fear of them being under the sway of what they would have been before. So these will just be looking for a job or go about what they were supposed to be doing before, guarding areas and such.
How old are these Warforged? Do you know? How long have they been down there?
In some areas there was at least a foot of dust, and there are areas that we could not even reach. So I would say at least for some 1,000+ years. We could barely find any recorded information on most of the old Imperium when we searched for it. It was almost as if it was wiped out or it didn't exist anymore.
Could be. Now very intrigued, because there might be more down there. Just I'd have to figure out how to get to it.
If you go with your inquisitive mind and asking questions, I'm pretty sure they will let you in and explore. To a degree, they do have vaults with information. They would probably at least let you check out some of their libraries.
Have you explored some of those libraries yourself?
No, I was unable to, and I've been meaning to make a quest to go visit, but things keep coming up.
What kind of things?
New travels to make. Ben and I on occasion have been known to go out and help in little skirmishes to make some extra pocket money. A good necromancer is always good to have around to put your own dead to rest when you know the rites properly, and also to help turn the tide in battle when least expected.
I always find that rather morbidly entertaining to see.
Yes. Nothing.
Most enemies do not expect their dead to rise up and start attacking them.
Oh yes, the looks on the faces is just beautiful. I love it. I laugh every time.
I find it rather amusing too. I've had a couple necromancy books try and win me over, but I mostly studying from afar. I've got plenty of other skills at my disposal.
Every time I get ready to go make a journey, something pops up, and Ben and I go have a little fun. Plus, it always makes good to have extra parts laying around in case.
I imagine, very true. Do you have any things that you're trying to plan now?
No, currently we are just relaxing. I've been trying to do more study of my book to see if I can unlock it further. I'll show you the book, and it's got what appears to be a hand on it with 5 little key slots. 2 of the key slots are closed.
Mm-hmm.
I pull off the glove on my left hand, and you see the ring finger and the index finger are skeletal. To open the book fully requires some sacrifice, and searching for the keys is not the easiest thing.
Naturally, I imagine this must have been rather unpleasant the first time.
Yes, extremely. But you do kind of get used to it. No, not really. But it does make for a good look, don't you think?
Yes, and I imagine if you're trying to intimidate someone, just take the glove off, carefully stroke their face.
Yes.
You'll have them in a quivering puddle on the floor.
It does have its benefits from time to time.
I might have to borrow that idea, actually. Not literally, but I'm sure I can make a decent enough illusion.
Yes, probably could be done, but I do like the look as well. And it is a reminder that I have to keep studying and learning to find the rest of these keys.
Well, I wish you luck in that, and if you ever need a hand with anything, let me know. And she slides just a blank piece of paper across. I'm curious to see what you uncovered. If you write anything on here, I'm able to get it.
Oh, thank you very much. I definitely will keep this handy.
And if I'm ever in town and find myself in need of a necromancer, I'll let you know.
Oh, please, always feel free to stop by. You just come up. If the guards stop you, tell them you're here to see me. And if I'm not here, they will let you know where I'm at. But otherwise, they will conduct you to me or bring me to you, whichever. And I will avail myself to assist you in any way possible.
Very well. I take you up on that. I like to keep an eye on things. Make sure something dangerous is not coming around. And since there's not always a lot I can do directly, it does me good to have connections with people I can trust that I can call on in time of need.
Please consider me one of those.
It's a pleasure meeting you, and I'm glad I stopped by. This is excellent cider, by the way.
Thank you very much. I will make sure you have at least 2 casts to take with you, so you can enjoy it more thoroughly at your leisure.
Much appreciated. I'll have to fend off the rest of the expedition, but
If you stop in town at the bar, tell them that you're after our cider and I sent you, and they should give you at least a small discount.
that's good to know.
So we supply them with most of their business with our cider.
Imagine it's a very lucrative business. Most adventurers don't think to have something like this going on for whenever they're not off adventuring.
It was just extremely fortuitous and lucky that we did stumble upon it, and we were able to get it up and going and keep it going.
It was this indeed. Like I said, fate is strange.
Yes, ready.
I would love to stay and talk more, but I'm afraid I have a meeting to attend to in town. I'm sure we'll see each other again before too long.
Of course, as I said, we are always open here, should you ever wish to come back. And maybe, we never know, run into each other out on the road somewhere.
Perhaps we will. Or maybe down in the tunnels trying to see what else we can uncover about these transportation and the Warforged.
Quite possibly.
Right, well, thanks again for the cider, and I wish you well.
Of course, I wish you well and be safe on your journeys.
Tales of Adventure is directed and produced by me, Brianna Toiber, as part of Pseudonym Social, a creative podcast network. The music is by Patrick Chester of Chester Studios. To see more of his work, visit his website at chesterstudios.net. Find out more about Pseudonym Social by visiting our website at pseudonymsocial.wordpress.com. If you like what I'm doing and would like to support this podcast, please go to patreon.com/pseudonymsocial and choose one of the tiers connected to Tales of Adventure. You can also leave a review on iTunes to make our show easier to find for those who need it.
Welcome, travelers. Seems like you're looking for a story. Well, I got one for you. It involves adventure, friendship, and all sorts of...
Earl, why don't you tell him about that time I stole that big-ass melon?
Yeah, I was going for more...
Or you could tell him about the time I kicked her ass, Earl.
I wouldn't ever tell them.
Do I need to get my ref gear on?
Okay, everyone, shut up. Now come with me as I tell you a story from afar. Hey everybody, my name's David. I'm the DM for From Afar Podcast. A From Afar Podcast is all about four friends separated by distance, but brought together by adventure. Hope you all stop by and give us a listen. Thanks.